Welcome back to the channel. US Rare Coins News, Top 1. If you love coins, history, and the thrill of discovering hidden value, then you are in the right place. Today's video is all about a coin that millions of Americans have seen, spent, or saved, but very few truly understand. We're diving deep into the United States of America Kennedy half-dollar from 1972. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but behind its silver-gray surface lies history, emotion, mystery, and in some rare cases, serious money. So make sure you watch until the very end, because we'll uncover what makes the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar special, what collectors look for, and finally reveal the highest auction prices ever paid for this coin. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The American public deeply admired Kennedy, and the U.S. Mint moved quickly to honor him by placing his portrait on the half-dollar. This wasn't just another coin release, it was an emotional moment in American history. People saved these coins not because they were rare, but because they symbolized hope, leadership, and a president whose life was cut short. By the time 1972 arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become a familiar part of American currency. However, something important had changed. Earlier versions contained significant silver, but by 1971 and 1972, the composition shifted again. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, meaning it contained no silver at all. This change marked a new era in U.S. coinage and made the 1972 issue a key transitional piece. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar was produced at multiple mints. Coins were struck in Philadelphia and Denver for circulation, while proof versions were made in San Francisco specifically for collectors. Each mint produced coins with subtle differences, and those differences matter a lot in the world of numismatics. On the front of the coin, you see a bold left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy. The design captures strength, confidence, and calm leadership. The word liberty arcs across the top, while "I in God we trust" sits just below Kennedy's chin. The date 1972 appears clearly at the bottom. While the design stayed consistent, small variations in strike quality and detail can dramatically affect value. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the presidential seal. A powerful eagle with outstretched wings holds arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing America's readiness for both war and peace. Above the eagle is a ring of stars representing the states, and surrounding it all are the words United States of America and half-dollar. It's a design packed with symbolism and national pride. Now here's where things start getting interesting. Even though millions of 1972 Kennedy half-dollars were minted, not all of them are equal. Most were heavily circulated, used in vending machines, cash registers, and everyday transactions. As a result, finding one today with sharp details, strong luster, and no wear is far more difficult than you might expect. Collectors care deeply about condition. A worn coin with scratches and dull surfaces may only be worth face value. But a coin that looks like it just left the mint, bright, clean, and untouched, can be far more desirable. The difference between an average coin and a top-grade example can mean the difference between cents and serious collector interest. Another major factor that can increase value is minting errors. Some 1972 Kennedy half-dollars were struck with mistakes that escaped the mint. These errors include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, weak strikes, and missing details. Error coins are extremely popular because they are unique. No two are exactly the same, and collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for them. Proof versions from San Francisco add another layer of excitement. Proof coins were specially made with polished dies and planchets, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Many proof coins were carefully stored, but some still developed imperfections over time. High-grade proofs with deep contrast are especially prized. There is also strong collector nostalgia attached to Kennedy half-dollars. Many people remember saving them as children or receiving them from parents or grandparents. This emotional connection keeps demand strong, even for coins that are technically common. Over the years, interest in modern U.S. coins has grown significantly. More collectors now focus on high-grade examples, registry sets, and rare errors. Because of this, coins like the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar are being re-evaluated, searched, and graded more than ever before. Professional grading plays a huge role in determining value. Coins certified by top grading services and given extremely high grades are far scarcer than raw coins. While millions were made, only a tiny number survive in elite condition. These top-tier examples are the ones that turn heads at auctions. Now let's talk about what everyone is waiting for, the money. While most 1972 Kennedy half-dollars are worth only face value in circulated condition, exceptional examples tell a very different story. At major coin auctions, high-grade uncirculated and proof coins, especially those with rare errors or near-perfect certification grades, have achieved remarkable results. In recent auctions, standard high-grade uncirculated 1972 Kennedy half-dollars have sold for hundreds of dollars. Proof examples in top condition have reached into the thousands. And the most extraordinary pieces, those with rare mint errors or top population grades, have achieved auction prices exceeding several $1,000s, with the highest documented sales reaching well into the five-figure range under intense collector competition. Yes, under the right conditions, a single 1972 Kennedy half-dollar has sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars, making it one of the most surprising modern U.S. coin success stories. Top 2. Today we're uncovering the story behind a coin that quietly passed through millions of hands, sat in drawers for decades, and is now being carefully examined by collectors all across America. This video is all about the United States of America Kennedy half-dollar dated 1973. At first glance, it may seem like just another modern coin, but when you look closer, you'll find history, rarity, and surprising value hiding in plain sight. The Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most recognizable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy, it instantly became more than money. It became a symbol of remembrance, unity, and national pride. By the time 1973 arrived, the coin had already cemented its place in American culture, but the world around it was changing fast. The early 1970s were a time of major transition in the United States. The country was adjusting to political change, economic uncertainty, and rising inflation. Coinage was also evolving. Precious metals were disappearing from circulation, and Americans were slowly realizing that the coins in their pockets were no longer made the way they once were. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, meaning it contains no silver. Because of this, many people ignored these coins, assuming they had no collector value. But that assumption turned out to be a costly mistake for some. In 1973, Kennedy half-dollars were produced at multiple mints. Coins from Philadelphia and Denver were struck for circulation, while special proof coins were produced in San Francisco for collectors. Although large numbers were minted, survival in high condition is far more limited than most people realize. On the front of the coin, the portrait of John F. Kennedy appears strong and dignified. The design captures a calm confidence that reflects how many Americans remember him. The word Liberty curves across the top, while "In God We Trust" is placed neatly beneath Kennedy's profile. The date 1973 anchors the coin firmly in a pivotal moment of American history. Turn the coin over, and you're greeted by the presidential seal. A powerful eagle spreads its wings proudly, clutching arrows and an olive branch. Above the eagle is a constellation of stars, and surrounding the entire design are the words United States of America and half-dollar. The reverse design reinforces the authority and symbolism of the presidency and the nation itself. While the design may look familiar, collectors know that not all 1973 Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. Strike quality varies significantly, and this plays a huge role in value. Some coins were weakly struck, showing soft details in Kennedy's hair or the eagle's feathers. Others were struck with sharp precision, resulting in crisp lines and strong eye appeal. Condition is everything when it comes to modern coin collecting. Most 1973 Kennedy half-dollars were heavily circulated. They were used in casinos, banks, and everyday commerce. As a result, many examples today show scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. Coins that escaped circulation and remained untouched are far scarcer than the original mintage numbers suggest. Uncirculated examples with full luster and no wear are highly desirable. Coins with smooth fields, strong strikes, and clean edges can command significant attention from collectors, especially when professionally graded, proof versions of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar add even more excitement. These coins were struck with specially polished dies and planchets, creating mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs. Proof coins were never intended for circulation, yet many still suffered from handling marks or improper storage. Perfect or near-perfect proofs are surprisingly difficult to find today. Another area where value can skyrocket is mint errors. Some 1973 Kennedy half-dollars were produced with mistakes that escaped quality control. These include doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual characteristics. Error coins are extremely popular because they are unique, and collectors often compete fiercely to own them. What truly drives interest in the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is the growing appreciation for modern U.S. coinage. More collectors are now focusing on high-grade clad coins, recognizing that rarity is not just about age or silver content, but about condition and scarcity at the top levels. Professional grading has transformed the market for coins like this. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction have been certified in the highest grades. These elite examples are the ones that appear in registry sets and headline major auctions. There's also a strong emotional factor at play. Kennedy half-dollars are often associated with memories of childhood, family, and a time when half-dollars were still commonly used. This nostalgia keeps demand strong and continues to attract new collectors to the series. Now let's talk about value, because this is where things get truly interesting. In everyday circulated condition, a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth face value. However, coins in uncirculated condition can be worth many times more. High-grade uncirculated examples, proof coins with deep contrast, and especially rare error varieties have shown impressive results when offered to serious collectors. At major coin auctions, certified high-grade 1973 Kennedy half-dollars have sold for hundreds of dollars. Top-tier proof examples have reached into the thousands. And the finest known examples, including rare error coins and the highest graded specimens, have achieved auction prices climbing into the tens of thousands of dollars when collectors compete for the best of the best. Top 3. Today we're uncovering the story of a modern American coin that many people overlook, yet collectors quietly search for every single day. This video is all about the United States of America Kennedy half-dollar dated 1998. At first glance, it may seem too recent to matter, too common to be valuable, and too ordinary to attract attention. But as you'll soon discover, the 1998 Kennedy half-dollar has a fascinating place in U.S. coin history and can be surprisingly valuable under the right circumstances. The Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most emotionally significant coins ever issued by the United States Mint. First introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, the coin immediately became a symbol of remembrance and respect. People across the nation saved them, not because they were rare, but because they represented a moment in American history that would never be forgotten. By the time 1998 arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar had already been in circulation for more than 3 decades. However, half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions. Most Americans rarely saw them in their change, and many younger people didn't even know they were still being minted. This lack of circulation plays a major role in why the 1998 Kennedy half-dollar is more interesting than it appears. The 1998 Kennedy half-dollar was produced during a time when the U.S. Mint was focusing heavily on collectors. Coins were still made for circulation, but many were set aside in mint sets or saved directly by the public. As a result, a large number of 1998 half-dollars never saw daily use. Yet true high-grade examples remain harder to find than expected. This coin was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it contains no silver. Because of that, many people assumed it had no real value beyond face value. However, experienced collectors know that metal content is only one part of the story. Condition, strike quality, rarity in top grades, and mint errors are what truly drive value. On the front of the coin, the familiar portrait of John F. Kennedy stands out with strength and elegance. The word liberty stretches across the top, while "In God We Trust" rests below the profile. The date 1998 marks a period of economic growth and technological change in the United States, making this coin a small but meaningful reflection of its time. the reverse side features the presidential seal, a powerful eagle with outstretched wings holding arrows and an olive branch. The stars above the eagle symbolize the states, and the surrounding inscriptions United States of America and $50 complete the design. Even after decades of use, this design continues to represent authority, unity, and national pride. What makes the 1998 Kennedy $50 especially interesting to collectors is the difference between ordinary examples and exceptional ones. Many coins were struck with average quality, showing soft details and muted luster. But some were struck with incredible sharpness, brilliant surfaces, and strong eye appeal. These are the coins collectors want. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A circulated 1998 Kennedy $50 with scratches and wear is typically only worth face value. However, an uncirculated coin with full mint luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details can be far more desirable. Coins that appear untouched since the day they were struck are much scarcer than people realize. Proof versions of the 1998 Kennedy $50 add another layer of collectability. These coins were struck specifically for collectors using polished dies and specially prepared planchets. The result is a stunning mirror-like finish with frosted design elements. While many proof coins were carefully stored, others developed hairlines, spots, or handling marks, making flawless examples increasingly rare. Mint errors are where excitement really begins. Some 1998 Kennedy $50 left the mint with mistakes that slipped past quality control. These errors include off-center strikes, double details, clipped planchets, weak strikes, and other unusual characteristics. Error coins are highly sought after because no two are exactly alike, and collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for them. Another factor driving interest is modern coin collecting itself. More collectors today are focusing on late 20th century coins, especially those that are difficult to find in top grades. Registry set competition has pushed demand higher for the finest known examples. Even for coins that were once considered common, professional grading can dramatically change a coin's value. While thousands of 1998 Kennedy $50 exist, only a very small number have been certified in the highest grades. These elite examples stand out in auctions and often attract serious bidding from collectors who want the best of the best. There is also nostalgia attached to Kennedy $50. Many people remember receiving them from banks, casinos, or relatives. This emotional connection keeps interest strong and ensures that demand for well-preserved examples continues to grow. Now let's talk about value, because this is what everyone is curious about. In normal circulated condition, the 1998 Kennedy $50 is generally worth its face value. Uncirculated examples can be worth significantly more, especially when professionally graded. Proof coins in excellent condition are also highly collectible. And rare error coins can command impressive premiums. At major coin auctions, high-grade uncirculated and proof 1998 Kennedy $50 have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars. The finest certified examples and rare error varieties have reached auction prices in the multiple thousands, proving that even a modern Kennedy $50 can become a serious collector coin under the right conditions. So the next time you come across a 1998 Kennedy $50, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Check the condition. Look for unusual details. Because that ordinary-looking coin might be hiding unexpected value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1998 Kennedy $50, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another hidden coin story. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.